Everyone thinks they know Mary Poppins, the magical nanny who floats down from the clouds with an umbrella in hand, the cheerful caretaker who sings through the streets of London and turns ordinary days into unforgettable adventures. For decades, the character has been remembered through the beloved film Mary Poppins, where she appears as a smiling guide who fixes broken families and fills children's lives with wonder. It feels like the perfect children's story. A strict but kind nanny arrives just when a troubled household needs her. She teaches valuable lessons, performs charming magic, and leaves behind a stronger and happier family. But that image hides a very different origin. Long before the bright songs and dancing chimney sweeps appeared on screen, Mary Poppins existed in a series of novels written by Travers beginning in 1934. The character in those pages was not cheerful, comforting, or openly magical. She was stern, proud, secretive. The children who met her were fascinated by her strange abilities, yet they were never entirely comfortable around her. Because the original Mary Poppins was not meant to be a lovable nanny. She was something far stranger. In the original stories written by Travers, Mary Poppins does not behave like the warm caretaker audiences remember. In fact, she seems almost offended by affection. When the bank's children try to hug her, she stiffens and pulls away. Compliments rarely reach her lips. Praise is almost non-existent. Instead, she watches the children with a sharp gaze that suggests she expects absolute discipline. Her pride is unmistakable. Mary Poppins admires her own reflection whenever she passes a mirror or a shop window. She straightens her hat, adjusts her gloves, and reminds the children more than once that she is practically perfect in every way. But the most unsettling detail is how she responds to the impossible events surrounding her. Animals speak in her presence. Objects behave in ways that defy explanation. Entire adventures unfold that no adult would believe. Yet the moment the children mention these things, Mary Poppins denies everything. Nothing happened, she insists. You imagined it. The children slowly learn an unusual rule. They may witness extraordinary things when Mary Poppins is near, but they must never expect her to admit that any of it is real. As the bank's children spend more time with Mary Poppins, a strange pattern begins to appear. Impossible things happen constantly when she is nearby. Yet these events follow a rule so consistent that it begins to feel deliberate. Children can see the magic, adults cannot. While walking through London, Jane and Michael witness statues climbing down from their pedestals after sunset. Animals hold polite conversations. Even the stars in the sky seem capable of visiting the earth for brief moments. But the moment an adult enters the room, the impossible disappears. A statue freezes again. A talking animal becomes silent. The strange moment vanishes as if it never existed. This rule appears repeatedly in the books written by Travers. The children experience a hidden side of the world that adults remain completely unaware of. Mary Poppins never explains why this happens. Instead, she behaves as though the rule is obvious, natural, expected. The unsettling implication slowly becomes clear. Mary Poppins is not simply performing tricks. She seems to control when the hidden world reveals itself and when it vanishes again. One of the most unsettling moments in the original stories happens on Mary Poppins's birthday. Late one evening, she takes Jane and Michael somewhere unexpected. They walk quietly through the gates of the London Zoo long after the visitors have gone home. At first, the place looks exactly as it should. The paths are empty. The cages are locked. The animals sleep in the darkness. Then the rules of the zoo begin to change. The cages open, but the animals do not run away. Instead, they step calmly out into the open paths while the humans are guided into the cages. Jane and Michael suddenly find themselves standing behind bars while animals gather outside and observe them with calm curiosity. A large cobra raises its head and begins to speak. The animals greet Mary Poppins as an honoured guest and celebrate her birthday with quiet respect. The strangest part is her reaction. Mary Poppins does not seem surprised at all. In the books written by Travers, she behaves as if this strange gathering is completely normal, as if she belongs among them. Another story hidden in the original books reveals just how unusual Mary Poppins's world truly is. One evening, the children meet a quiet girl named Maya, who seems confused by the simplest things. Streets puzzle her, food surprises her. Even the idea of living inside a house feels unfamiliar. At first, she appears to be just another strange child wandering through London. Then the truth slowly emerges. Maya is not human. She is a star that has fallen from the sky. Long ago, she descended to Earth and took the form of a girl, forgetting where she came from. As time passes, the memory begins to return. The pull of the heavens grows stronger until the moment arrives when she must return to her place among the stars. The children watch this transformation with astonishment. Mary Poppins reacts very differently. In the stories written by Travers, she shows no surprise at all. She speaks to Maya calmly, as if such cosmic events are ordinary. For Mary Poppins, a star returning to the sky is simply another evening's occurrence. As readers began to examine the stories more closely, many noticed something unusual about Mary Poppins. She does not behave like a typical character from a children's book. Her actions resemble something much older. The woman who created her, Travers, spent much of her life studying mythology and ancient belief systems. She believed traditional stories carried fragments of deep symbolic truth. Mary Poppins reflects that fascination. Scholars have often compared her to the ancient guide figure known as Hermes. In classical mythology, Hermes could travel freely between different worlds. He moved between heaven, earth, and even the underworld, guiding travelers through strange transitions. Mary Poppins behaves in a surprisingly similar way. She appears suddenly when the wind changes. She escorts children into encounters with talking animals, living statues, and cosmic visitors. Then she vanishes again before anyone fully understands what happened. Seen through this lens, Mary Poppins begins to resemble something far older than a nanny. She looks like a messenger from another layer of reality. As time passes, the bank's children grow deeply attached to Mary Poppins. She brings excitement into their ordinary routines and reveals a world far stranger than the one they knew before. Yet their fascination comes with a strange tension. Mary Poppins demands complete obedience. When Jane or Michael question her instructions, she responds with a sharp look that ends the conversation immediately. The children quickly understand that arguing with her leads nowhere. More unsettling is the rule she repeats after every impossible event. They must never speak about what they have seen. A statue might climb down from its pedestal. A dog might hold a conversation. A star might walk the streets in human form. Yet if the children mention these things, Mary Poppins denies them instantly. "Nothing happened," she insists. "You imagined it." This pattern appears again and again in the stories created by Travers. Mary Poppins shows the children a hidden world filled with impossible wonders. At the same time, she controls how much of that world they are allowed to remember. When most people picture Mary Poppins today, they imagine the cheerful figure from the film Mary Poppins. She laughs easily, sings through the streets, and performs bright magical tricks that bring joy to the entire bank's household. In that version, she is warm, comforting, and openly kind. But something important disappeared during that transformation. The strange tension that filled the original book slowly faded away. The mysterious authority Mary Poppins carried became softer. Her cold pride was replaced with playful charm. Many of the most unusual scenes from the novels written by Travers never appeared in the film at all. The midnight zoo where animals observe humans vanished. The story of the fallen star vanished. The unsettling sense that Mary Poppins belonged to a hidden order of beings vanished with them. What remained was a far safer story. a magical nanny who arrives to repair a family and leave everyone smiling. Yet the earlier version still exists inside the pages of the books, waiting for readers who notice how strange Mary Poppins truly is. When the stories are viewed together, a strange pattern begins to emerge. Mary Poppins never stays for long. She arrives suddenly when the wind changes. She introduces the children to moments that break every rule of ordinary life. Then, just as quickly, she prepares to leave. This rhythm repeats again and again in the books written by Travers. The children encounter wonders that adults cannot perceive. They see animals speaking calmly about the nature of the world. They meet visitors from the sky. They learn that the boundary between imagination and reality is thinner than anyone expected. Mary Poppins never explains why she shows them these things. She simply acts as a guide who opens a door for a brief moment. Once the children have seen enough, she closes that door again. The deeper implication is unsettling. Mary Poppins is not there to care for the children forever. Her role is temporary. She arrives to reveal that the world hides mysteries most people stop noticing as they grow older. Every Mary Poppins story ends in almost the same way. The wind shifts direction. Mary Poppins looks toward the sky as if she has been waiting for this signal all along. Without warning, she packs her bag, opens her umbrella, and announces that it is time for her to go. Jane and Michael never feel ready for that moment. They want her to stay. They want the strange adventures to continue. Yet Mary Poppins never hesitates. She rises into the air and drifts away above the rooftops of London until she disappears completely. For a while, the children remember everything. They remember the animals that spoke to them in calm voices. They remember the star who walked the streets like an ordinary girl. They remember the night when the zoo reversed its rules and the animals watched the humans. But slowly, those memories begin to fade. That fading was always part of the design created by Travers. Mary Poppins does not stay long enough to become understood. She appears, reveals a hidden truth, and leaves with the changing wind. There is one detail that makes the entire story feel even stranger. Mary Poppins never explains who she is. Not once. The children ask questions. They wonder where she came from. They try to understand how she can do the impossible things they witness. But every time the questions appear, Mary Poppins responds the same way. She changes the subject. Sometimes she becomes offended. Sometimes she insists nothing unusual happened at all. Other times, she simply walks away as if the question itself was inappropriate. The silence is deliberate. In the books written by Travers, Mary Poppins guards her identity carefully. Even the magical creatures who seem to know her treat her with a curious mixture of respect and caution. Animals greet her as if she belongs to their world. The stars recognize her presence. Even the wind seems to obey her arrival and departure. Yet the children are never given an answer. They only know one thing. Mary Poppins appears when the wind changes. And no one truly knows where she comes from when she does. After Mary Poppins leaves, something quiet and unsettling begins to happen. At first, Jane and Michael remember every detail of the strange adventures she brought into their lives. They talk about the animals that spoke to them. They recall the star who returned to the sky. They remember the night when the zoo reversed its rules and humans stood behind the cages. But as time passes, those memories grow faint. The children begin to doubt what they once witnessed so clearly. Moments that once felt vivid start to feel like distant dreams. The impossible events lose their sharp edges until they seem almost imaginary. This fading appears again and again in the stories written by Travers. Mary Poppins never tries to stop it. In fact, it seems to be part of her design. She opens a door for the children to glimpse a hidden side of reality. Then she allows that door to close again as childhood slowly slips away. The world becomes ordinary once more, and the strange visitor who revealed its secrets becomes harder to remember.